Blessings BookTube.
I like to read. You do too. Let's get ridiculous.
All right, folks, it's Tag Tuesday, and I owe Mark one, but the backstage, the behind the scenes tag, but I've got plans for that one. It might take a week or two to get that one done, so I'm going to jump onto a very recent tag that Sui was nice enough to tag me with. Thank you for that. Called Would You Rather? Was that what it's called? Anyway, it's a sort of a Would You Rather format thing with a few different genres, it looks like, about 10, 15 questions. So let's jump right in. Number one. Would you rather never read more than one book from the same author? Or would you rather read only books from one author of your choice? Well, I try to think of any case in which I would only want to read one author as opposed to all authors for the rest of my life. I think that would only happen if sort of like I don't know a Messiah or Maitreya, future Buddha more likely, came down to deliver lay some scripture on us. Then I guess I wouldn't want to miss out on that. But assuming that's not very likely, I got to go with I'd rather read more than one book, never read more than one book from the same author. So I'll have just more and more authors to discover. There'll be a few that I'll be sad that I can't reread, but that's life. Okay, or at least that's tags. Would I rather read a book? Number two, would I rather read a book with an unlikable main character, or would I rather that my favorite character dies? Well, you know what I would like? I would like to have a unlikable main character who dies in the end. So we'll go with that one. I've got to subvert everything, don't I? Sorry about that, folks. Number three, would I rather start my library from scratch or never be allowed to add to my current library? This is a pretty easy one since I only usually own about 5 books on the go at a time, maybe plus 2 from the library. So our library here only allows us to take 2 out at a time. So I would, of course, sacrifice that pathetic tiny library and allowing for bringing ever new books into my greedy little paws and passing them on and ready for the next. That's how I like to roll. Okay, 4. Would you rather your favorite author never publish anything new, or that my favorite author, I guess, only publishes bad books from now on? Well, almost all my favorite authors are dead, so they're not going to be publishing anything new or bad. I think bad. I mean, how greedy am I that I want someone to never publish again, even though others are enjoying it? Also, not discounting the fact that what I find bad right now, I might find enjoyable in the future. I didn't like to eat peas and lima beans when I was a boy. Now I eat peas and lima beans. Go figure. I'm a little burned out on murder mysteries from because that's all my mom reads. But I can easily envision a time when I would want to go back to them. So that's not really necessarily a bad book, but you know what I mean. And I think I tolerate badness at a higher level than most people, provided there's also some goodness in it, which I can usually find. I can, excuse a lot if there's a couple golden nuggets in there. All right, so that's good and bad. I think we're at 6, right? No, 5. Would I rather read only one of my favorite genres, or would I rather read as widely as I want, except in that genre? Is there any genre so large that I would read only that genre? No, I think I would have to give up my favorite genre. The problem here is that I cannot identify a favorite genre. Could I give up classics? No, I couldn't give up classics. But I consider there are classics in every genre. Um, I could give up sci-fi, I could give up fantasy. Um, but if I had to give up speculative fiction, that's both. I don't know. That's a tough one. Um, because it depends so much on our views about genre and that sort of thing. I won't go as far as Mark to say that there's none, but um, genres are fluid. Let's put it that way. Like gender, genres are fluid. It's a spectrum, folks. All right, so I think I would give up just the one, and be able to peruse all the others, as I generally like broadness in life. All right, would I rather be number 6? Would I rather be stranded forever on a desert island with a full library? Ooh, that sounds good already. I don't need the other one. Or live in society in which books have disappeared. Oh my goodness, that makes it hard. Uh yes, I guess really the idea of being stranded is not appealing, right? I mean, the proof that humans are social animals, despite all the current trends, is that we do not flourish when we don't have any human contact. Sounds like my weekends. Um, yes, we need human contact to not just thrive, to survive. It's actually, what do they call that? Anti evolutionary to be alone. So you have to have people. So I guess we'll have to do without books. That's okay. We'll probably revert to oral storytelling, and that would be fun too. Although I have a terrible memory. Number 7, sci-fi and fantasy (SFF). Would I rather read only 5-star series but unfinished, or read only thick standalones with a bunch of info dumping? Well, funnily enough, I'm not so much anathema to info dumping, or let's just say if it's info dumping as I would label it. Of course, it's dumping doesn't sound very good, right? But what most people would consider info dumping, I find enjoyable. So I don't have too much of a problem with that. Um, I mean, think about it. Everyone reads non-fiction books that are basically all info dumping. So, do we really hate info dumping? I don't think so. We're just certain kinds that we prefer and all that kind of stuff. But I actually don't love thick books at all. I just don't. I've read a ton and will continue to, but it's not my preferred thing. But yeah, the 5-star series. That the problem with that one is, I don't care that they're unfinished, but I don't do star ratings. So I guess read excellent unfinished series. I'll choose that one, of course, right? And the other is also fine. Reading thick books with info dumping is also fine. So they're both fine, but I guess you got to go with the unfinished excellence. 8 is a mystery genre. Would I rather always get book twists spoiled, or always have an open ending, i.e., the killer isn't caught? The open ending can be done very well. Can be a little unsatisfying, but again, as in most things, I'm rather tolerant. But um, I'm also tolerant of what most people would consider spoilage. I mean, not of a mystery, obviously. Although I almost always guess the mysteries. So, which doesn't make me think I would be a good detective, by the way. That's a totally different thing. But I am an okay literary critic, so I can read literature in ways that help me solve mysteries. So I usually know, but I think most books, that I read are excellent books, so they have a value added function. So it's like, am I going to not go see David Copperfield disappear the Statue of Liberty? Obviously, I know what's going to happen, but I want to see it done, right? How is it done? So that's kind of my thing on spoilers. So I guess I will prefer spoilers because I don't want everything to be an open ending, because then there is no mystery. You know what it's going to be, right? So yeah, have my book spoiled. Historical romance. I don't read a ton of this. I do read history. Don't read romance. A great love story. Would I rather have a great love story with historical inaccuracies, or a toxic or mad love story but great historical world building? I think some of the best works ever written are toxic love stories. So I'm definitely not going to throw that out. Meh, of course, is meh. I do like historical world building. However, I'm not, I'm not so much of a historian that I can nitpick most historical narratives and be like, hey, wait a minute, that wagon wheel wasn't invented until 15 years later or whatever. I don't have any of those hangups. So, and as a matter of fact, I love historical reimaginings, right? Like alternative histories, um, speculative histories, whatever you want to call them. So, um, just not so much with the love story, I guess, right? I guess a great love story. I mean, right? You want a great love story rather than a meh love story, regardless of the rest. So, if it's a love story, right? Um, yeah, we'll go with that. 10 is read a book. Would I rather read a book that has the best characters, plot, writing, etc.? Oh no, sorry. Choose one, but none of the others. Yeah, see, I really don't subscribe to everybody's dichotomy between character driven and plot driven books. I only read books that have both well developed. That's what makes a good book. So I guess I'll say writing. I'll choose plot over character, whatever that means. A lot of characters are flat. Why? Because a lot of people in your life are flat. Not that they don't have rich interior histories, but you're not going to demand that of the barista that served you your coffee this morning. That character in your life is going to be a flat character. I mean, unless you date them, then that's going to change. But I think I could tolerate bad writing, so-called bad writing, better than most people. For example, Stephen King, according to his writing book, cannot stand um, basically any speech marker other than said. He said, she said, that's it. Interrogated, obscopulated, all these whatever, and let alone try to add an adverb to it or a modifier. Just, say it. I think he'd be happy to have it written, like a screenplay almost. They don't bother me at all. In fact, most great writers have used them, some better than others. So that would be something that a lot of people would call bad writing that I can live with easily. So I guess I'll let the writing go in favor of the plot. And I'm not too worried because I think having a good plot tends to expand your characters. Okay, so have 11 is, would I rather have a friend who loses my books or mistreats them? Oh, well, again, assuming they're books I've already read, which is when I'm giving books away, it doesn't much matter to me if they get lost or mistreated. I suppose I'd rather mistreated because unless I knew that they were lost in a way that they were going to get found and read, I think a mistreated book can still be read, obviously. In fact, I read tons of them. The last year before I was here in Thailand, I was living in a little town called Jalapa in Mexico. And one of the books that I could get for a couple pesos, I mean, volumes and volumes and volumes of, was all of the Spanish and Latin American classics in this old brown flaky paper. Do you know the type? That no one's buying anymore because they're falling apart basically in your hands as you read them. But I want to give them that last life, and there are still lots of classics in Latin American Spanish literature that I haven't read. So I would regularly, every time I went to the bookshop, I'd buy one or two of those along with my other books, and they were in the worst condition you could pretty much be in. So, 12. Would you rather not be allowed to visit a bookstore again or be banned from all the libraries in the world? Well, obviously, of course, I need to choose libraries over bookstores. Um, but this is the first one that really hurts me. That would be a big loss. All the bookstores of the world. Yeah. Oh gosh. And then the ones with coffee houses that I like to hang out in as well. But I can't be banned from all the libraries of the world. That just can't be possible. So yeah, you go into a library. I mean, unless I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow for some unknown reason, um, you're never going to be going into a bookstore like you go into a library. Like everything in here is mine, whatever I want. You're right. What a feeling! How often do you get to feel that? Even at a dollar store, you can't go that crazy. So it's a little rough here. In this one, I'm only allowed to take 2 books at a time, but I usually get up many as I can carry. Um, but but yeah, your bookstores, I mean, if they're even going to still exist, well, will libraries exist in the current regime? You know, I think that the only, I don't want to be mean, but the only surviving, not the only surviving, but one of the main surviving U.S. book purveyors that's left is not my cup of tea. It's not my preferred vibe. So, I almost want to give them up, but I end up going there anyway. Of course, I always prefer a little used bookstore when I can find one. But yeah, even Barnes and Noble. Oops, I said the name. Even them, I would hate to not be allowed to go in again. But I got to pick libraries. 13. Would I rather that everyone hates my favorite books, or that everyone loves the books I hate? Interesting. Well. Let me think about this. Everyone loves the books I hate. No. That I can't have that. I would rather everyone hate my favorite books. Um, oh no. See, you got to choose love over hate every time, don't you? I guess I would rather everyone love the books that I hate. I hesitated against that one because I could think of just a couple books, like everyone loving Mein Kampf, right? Wouldn't so and practically there aren't that many books that I would say that I hate that aren't that bad. So actually, I cannot choose that one. Oh, I feel like I'm in that scene from Princess Bride, and therefore I cannot choose the other. Um, I guess everyone hating my favorite books. Oh, Don Quixote. It's all right. You know why? Because they have been loved for a long, long time. And they will be loved again in the future because they are great books. So I can live with them being hated for a while. But I don't want people to love the horrible books that I would hate. And I'm not talking about fiction. I'm talking about hate books, books of hate. I can't have other people loving those. Okay, 14. Would I rather everyone listen to audiobooks narrated by the worst narrator, i.e., Mickey Mouse? Ooh, who's hating on Mickey? It is a bit squeaky. Or would I rather that everyone read physical books in terrible lighting? Not everyone, just me. Sorry, why did I get everyone into this? Would I rather only listening to audiobooks with a bad narration or only reading physical books in bad lighting? I will choose physical books every day of the week, always over audiobooks, unless I lose my sight. And I think I pretty much read in terrible lighting half the time anyway. I finally bought myself a headlamp the other day so that I can read, when I'm going to sleep. I'm not like trying to, use a flashlight or something. But yeah, I generally have bad lighting in places that I live, and let's just say I really like things very bright, and it's hard to get that. Yeah, I've done a lot of reading in bad lighting, so I think I can tolerate to continue with that. But I like audiobooks, I definitely do. It's nothing. I just love a physical book. I prefer a physical book. Still, I can take my time with it, and approach it the way I want. I don't think I would be that put off by a bad narrator. It's never happened before, so I can't imagine it happening. All right. Oh, what about the nanny named Fran? Ooh, that voice. I don't know. Could I? Oh, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Oh, that would be rough. Oh, that would be rough. You got me there. You got me there, BookTube. I don't know. That's a tough one. All right, this is dragging on. Let's get it done with here. 15. Would I rather read books from the same series or collection that don't match, or read books printed in a tiny font? I don't care at all about things matching or series collections that don't match. I don't even know what that means. So I'm constantly reading on all these reading challenges with my friends that have the newish versions. I'm like trying to figure out where my Gutenberg chapter aligns, right, with their pagination. So that's no problem at all for me. Whereas tiny font is more and more of a problem for me. I used to not mind it because I like small, in the hand books, but the eyesight is not what it was. But I'm going to get new glasses for my birthday this year. I'm determined, so I need them. I think so. Maybe I'll be tiny fonting it again. 16. Would you rather never post another YouTube video or never watch YouTube ever again? Oh, I'm not such a egomaniac. Oh, sorry for shouldn't say that. I'm sure there are many good reasons for choosing both choices, but for myself, I don't need to be posting videos. I didn't post videos for 53 years of my life. 30, that would be nice. I'm sure that I could, survive the rest of my years without posting another single YouTube video. However, I wouldn't, who knows what the future brings, what other streaming platforms there will be, whether YouTube will even be a thing, whether it will get bought by one of these insane bazillionaires and turn it into a horrible hate fest that I'll have to give up anyway. Who knows? But YouTube as it is now, right now, although I went almost my whole life without watching it at all, in fact, I'm still learning how to watch YouTube. That's going to be a big part of that video that I'm making for Behind the Scenes for Mark, and how not to be a YouTuber. Look forward to that one from me soon. But yeah, there's so much great stuff on YouTube besides BookTube, which I love. There's some good history, archaeology, all kinds of amazing nature stuff that is amazing to watch. And I hate to give all that up. So yes, I will reluctantly give up these rambling talks that I'm having with you right now that's not even about a book that has become a weird integral part of my life right now. I will have to give that up, and I'm sure we will all cry, all 70 of my followers or whatever it is. But we'll move on. The world will move on somehow. It'll be okay. And it'll be fine, because by then I will be accepting my Nobel Prize. So my books will be well known, and I'll have interviewers, plenty of ways to spread my message of love. Bye, BookTube.